I love to see Kieron Gillen return for a stint at Marvel. His work for one of the big two of superhero comics usually results in getting a kernel of an idea that can't be explored quite as far as he might want to, in a work whose IP is not his own and thus subject to certain limitations. One such kernel of an idea, gestated during Gillen's run on New Avengers, resulted in The Wicked and the Divine, one of my all-time favorite comics to come out of Image, or any publishing house really. And allow me please a moment of satisfaction in noting that I managed to get all the hardcover editions of that series, and that no amount of riches will ever convince me to let go of them. Now, fresh off his latest stint in the ex-office, Kieron Gillen seeks to wow the comic book reader with his new ongoing. The series is beautifully drawn by Caspar Wijngaard, whose contributions in the character designs is, I'm sure, significant. The 6 characters are superpowers, characterized with possession of a power equal to any supernation state's nuclear arsenal, and are larger than life. I love the bright pastel colors that define them so well too. This first volume, The Superpowers, has a tall task indeed, as all first volumes do. Gillen and Wijngaard have to define their story world, their characters. They perform both tasks with aplomb. Chapter 1, Heroes and Villains, is an explosive opening which quickly defines the deep horror of a world in which superpowers are not only real but of immense destructive magnitude. The powers of Heavy and Etienne Lux show as much. Etienne is a telepath, or perhaps an omnipath, capable of killing uncountable people with barely an effort. He recalls Charles Xavier very clearly in that he has a strong ethical judgment, but that doesn't necessarily make him what you'd term a good guy. Heavy is a hippie with a cult, the family of individuals with far less impressive powers than the 6. He is scary powerful, capable of stitching himself back together after a direct hit from an orbital super laser meant to murder him. He also intends to throw Texas into orbit, I think, which I'm sure everyone's had that moment of wanting to throw one state or another into the sun, but following through, well, that's where trouble lies. Etienne and Heavy work out an agreement, but their already tense relationship is soured. What's more, as part of their agreement, Etienne kills the President of the United States and everyone in government who knew about the plot to kill Heavy with the laser. Imagine living in that world. Wishful thinking, am I right? What a bloody opening and ambitious to boot. Gillen does excellent work in setting up these layered relationships with lots of history. I immediately wanted to know more about the history that defined these characters, not just Etienne and Heavy's bitter relationship, but who the other powers were. The character design was key in sharpening my interest in Eliza, demonical and religious, and in Masumi, a pink-haired Japanese artist whom Etienne turns to with a care and a sensitivity that he doesn't exhibit towards anyone else. That care immediately rings alarm bells. If someone with Etienne's deadly, frightening abilities tiptoes around Masumi, what does that tell you? Told me that this colorful artist has something truly frightening up her sleeve. A later issue showing Masumi's grand exhibition is a study in building up horror around a single figure, whose loss of control is apocalyptic in the truest sense of that word. But really, they're all apocalyptic. Valentina, the first of the 6, is a literal angel come to Earth to defend humanity from the horror of atomics, born at the very moment when the first atomic bomb is successfully tested by the Americans at Los Alamos. She is here to protect us, and is a truly good, moral character. That doesn't mean that she is beyond agreeing to, say, the surgical strike that Etienne Lux carries out in the United States against that country's president. When she does, however, it is only because there is no better alternative. Valentina and Lux are the first two, and issue 1 opens with a sort of negotiation between them about the best way forward. To control humanity more directly or to shepherd them, as well as is possible. That is the question Lux posits before Valentina. Despite his own conviction that the former course is the better one, Valentina is unmoved. The roles of shepherds it is then. That scene sets such a wonderful tone to the series and defines both characters as a balancing act and perhaps as the backbone of the 6. It is a fractured backbone, if so, as the next 4 issues show. There is a friendship between Etienne and Valentina. There might well be love, but like with all others, there seems to be such a gulf between the ideals and beliefs these two hold for what the world should be. All the 6 are at odds with one another, all save Masumi, whose ties to reality seem to me frail beyond compare. She terrifies and fascinates me. She has a girlfriend, Isabella, an Italian goth without a home to return to, who acts as emotional support and caretaker for Masumi. Imagine that. Imagine the mental load of looking after someone whose powers are defined by a fractured psyche, whose emotional state is as frail as anything you've ever seen. Drop the ball, and the eldritch monstrosity comes out. Bloody hell, that's scary. The relationship Masumi and Isabella have with Etienne Lux is likewise frightening. Etienne is doing his best to shield Masumi from herself, but at what cost to Isabella? All that in issue 4, I ruined Godzilla. And hey, when Masumi says she's ruined Godzilla, she's got a good reason for it. You better trust her. I'm beyond fascinated by just about every member of the 6. Eliza's giving me hardcore magic vibes, and her design might just be the sickest of the lot. Megas is intriguing in his swerve from an anarchist to a figure of the right. He is not driven by conviction, I think, but rather by a need for balance between the 6. As for Heavy, his hippie bullshit is entertaining, and the secret he is keeping from the other 6 is going to blast to smithereens the status quo Gillen has set up in this first volume. Like in Wicked and the Divine, there is a kind of newcomer to the world of the 6 superpowers, the journalist and writer Tonya. Tonya is with Etienne Lux when the Omnipath kills the president and hundreds of those in the know about the hit on Heavy. Her question to Etienne Lux is demonstrative about the nature of this story world. Rather than blame Lux or call him a monster, or any of that cheap tripe, Tonya asks, is everyone safe now? Every issue has absolute banger quotes to pull from. Gillen's pitey quote per issue counter has never been quite this high, beginning with Valentina's "I came from perfection to protect those within time," to Etienne's closing line in issue 1, again to Valentina's final words at the tail end of issue 3, spoken telepathically while observing the ruins of a continent that marks the 6's most horrific failure to date. The trade paperback contains 5 issues, more than enough to hook me. The tragedy is, naturally, that I blazed through the whole thing in 50 minutes or so, and now desperately wish for more. It'll be months until the second volume comes out. Those months, they cannot pass soon enough. For me, the power fantasy is a must-read. I invite you to embrace this fantasy, even if it is a lot bloodier than the name might at first suggest. It is truly phenomenal work. Gillen and Wijngaard are a dream team. One of the best I ever saw. That sounds a little bit folksy, doesn't it? Anyway, I genuinely enjoy this comic book. Cannot recommend it enough, and I will be recommending other recent, not so recent, Gillen works on this channel as well. In the weeks and months to come, I in fact have had a review of We Call Them Giants for a while now. So you can look forward to this in a few weeks. There are more videos to come. I do sci-fi reviews on Mondays. I do fantasy reviews on Wednesdays. Wow. Ugh. I do fantasy reviews on Wednesdays. And I do miscellaneous stuff. Essays, comic book reviews, literary book reviews, various things that I can come up with and that I feel like doing on Fridays. Fridays is where the randomness of my very nature comes a-knocking. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it with your friends, with your grandma, ring that bell for notifications, and make sure to subscribe. This book channel is a bit of a passion project, something I'm just having fun with. Hope that you are too. I will see you next time, friends. And make sure to leave a comment down below. I would love to hear what you think about Kieron Gillen, what you think about his work. What are you reading in terms of comic books? Give me a recommendation. Leave a rec of something that is particularly close to your own heart. I might even read it. I'm Philip Magnus, you are not, and I will see you again next time.